Hello, beautiful people. Hello, my princess of the world. My name is Ana Torres. Welcome to Ana K's Little Green Book. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you're doing well. Today it's a holiday edition, so let's talk about wrapping paper. So when it comes to wrapping paper, it is a 7 billion business when it comes to the US alone. In fact, we like our gifts wrapped so much that globally there was 15 billion spent around the globe. According to estimates, about half of those end up in landfills, which means that millions of waste is created every single year. The wrapping tradition actually started ages ago. In fact, the Japanese furoshiki, that's kind of like a cloth that they kind of use in order to wrap gifts. And it's actually still in use, and it's a rendition to the version that has been around since the Edo period. So very, very long time. When it comes to the Korean bojagi, when it comes to that one, it actually dates back to the Three Kingdom period. Probably even more. It's traced even till early of the 1st century. Anno Domini, or the year of the Lord. And while that all is happening there, in the West, the upper class Victorians actually used very elaborate paper and kind of like coupled it with ribbon and lace as well. So what is the process of creating paper? It all obviously starts when it comes to the forest, where trees are actually harvested. And unfortunately, they use a lot of non-sustainable practices. Some of them is like just no buffer next to like streams. Some others is like no proper survey or protection for either threatened or endangered species. Also cutting down steep slopes, and some other ones are also using like large cuts, like clear cuts from the actual trees. Of course, it all depends where they are actually being logged, but unfortunately we can't really like pinpoint a lot of the origins of the trees or where they are actually coming from. One thing we can actually say for sure, though, environmental cost is documented, just because of everything that has been going on. As I've talked before, when it comes to the paper industry, that's actually the main one, or like one of the major responsible ones for clearing significant tracts of rainforests. It doesn't matter where, it's all around the globe. We've talked about Canada before, even like rainforest in Brazil. So again, all of those actually store a lot of carbon, billions of carbon actually, and they're actually also like just homes to endangered species. So unfortunately, when it comes to this, it actually can even be linked all the way to just child labor and violation of indigenous people rights when it comes to forestry. When it comes to the actual creating of it, what it's actually being made out of those trees is going to be the pulp. And when it comes to that, it actually poses a risk to the human health. The main reason is because of the type of chemicals that are being involved in the process. And one of the major ones is going to be when it comes to nitrogen hydroxide. So when it comes to that one, it doesn't even just like have a foul smell. It can actually be creating or like pretty much giving people respiratory problems in the long term. Once the pulp is actually boiled and those chemicals that were used are removed, it is then bleached with chlorine. When it comes to this one, unfortunately, it later releases cancer-causing compounds that are pretty much just going into the environment with waste, the water waste from the meals. So as an overall, when it comes to the process of creating paper, it's releasing toxic chemicals that are polluting the air, they're polluting our waterways, and then therefore it's actually harmful to our ecosystem. So not the greatest. Unfortunately, when it comes to paper, because it is paper, a lot of people think it's not as wasteful, or it's not going to be as harmful as it actually is. Most of the paper that is used is actually ending in recycled bins, and that's not the greatest part of it. What a lot of people do not know is, like, the truth is not all of those papers are actually able to be recycled. Again, it is very dependent on the type of materials that are being used and the municipal local municipality that you're actually on. But there's a lot like that aren't due to the coating. Some of them use glitter, which obviously we all love glitter. If it has foil, if they have bows, and tissue paper itself, none of them are actually recyclable. So when it comes to that, not only is it just created with non-recyclable materials, again, it's very dependent on the type of machines that are being used to do this. Another important fact is, when it comes to just like recycling places, sometimes it really isn't worth for them to recycle it, because either the paper is too thin or there's a lot of ink that's going into it, which means they would literally have to use a lot more chemicals in order to remove that. So it's really not worth just recycling that type of paper. If they're going to be pretty much taking more chemicals towards our air and our waterways, it is definitely a process that is not really being very well used in that respect. So I did wanted to like tell you that not all of the wrapping paper is going to be bad. Obviously, like, there's some that are not going to be destroying the forest, or those that are like violating the human rights in any shape or form. There are actually different options. I mean, I love to decorate my gifts. I run out, but it used to be just like that, like paper bag paper, which came like in long form, so I could actually do that. It's a lot more recyclable. There's also other options that can just fit yourself, and it's either made by sustainable managed forests. There's other ones that are using recycled fibers. There's other where the mills are done with chlorine free bleaching, and there's another one which is PCF recycled paper, which is going to be processed chlorine free recycled paper. And then there's other ones that are made like either with like raw materials, which can be like banana fibers, it can be wood shavings, and even some like cotton scraps that it's actually made from. I mean, everyone can find a different option. I know that everyone loves the holidays. I love the holidays. It's my favorite holiday of the whole year. Like, it just brings great memories for me, and I love being able to spend it with family. With this pandemic, we can do it as much, but obviously it's going to be my favorite. But it's not about the gifts, obviously, but we are used to give out gifts to everyone that's important for us. So you definitely can go ahead and find what fits you best. You can consider just like pretty much using those I don't know, clothes that you don't use anymore and just wrap it with them. You can find different types of paper. I have a couple of them. Obviously, I've run out of some, but for example, there's this one, and it literally will tell you Gift wrap is 100% recyclable. You can actually see it in there. It's the same one with this one. I believe I bought as many as I could when it came to this because of it. But you can actually see it in there. So again, it can all be according to what you want. I think it's a great way of removing that type of just pollutant that's going into the whole world, because they are literally like being wrapped and unwrapped in less than a minute. So it's one of the traditions. So if we must do it, I would definitely go ahead and recommend you to use those types of options. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I would love to help you out. And again, thank you so much for watching today. Hopefully I see you next week. And have a nice day. Bye.